Welcome, and today we're going to be starting our first HTML website that we're going to write within Visual Studio Code. Okay, so once you start and you open Visual Studio, this is kind of the welcome screen you're greeted with. Uh, from here, we're going to create or open a folder that contains all of the necessary documentation for our website. If we click on the little Fold Explorer up here, you'll notice that there's nothing opened. If you have Visual Studio and you've opened it before, you'll have other, uh, this may not look exactly the same, but if you just install it and you're opening it for the first time, this is the welcome screen you'll see, and we'll go to, click on that. And you can either open it here, or you can go to Open Folder. And since we do not have a folder created yet, that's what we'll be doing first. I'm going to put my on, I have I have a folder here. I'm going to say new folder and say first website. Now I have that new folder and I'll click on open and it will go through the steps of my first folder. And we're going to create a HTML page. So we'll click on this new file and we'll write index.html. And normally the rule of thumb when creating an HTML website, the main home page that that we'll be working on is referred to as index. It's a good habit of starting your website with that main page called index. And as you can see, when we write HTML, you'll see that this little icon changes to these tag brackets. That means it's the correct format. Press enter and it'll begin this new HTML page. And from here, this is where we begin writing our HTML for our website. Again, the HTML part is kind of the foundation and the skeletal structure that holds all of our JavaScript, all of our CSS style guides, and any other documentation that we want to have in there. So the first thing we want to do is declare what type of file this is. So we'll do the open bracket and exclamation point doc type. And you can see that it's starting to predictive text. And if I press enter, it will create it automatically. Any HTML page begins like this with this declaration, followed by another bracket, and we'll start typing HTML, and we'll close that bracket. And you can see as soon as I close that HTML bracket, it creates the ending of that HTML bracket. So basically, if we want to put everything in between these two lines of code. Uh, and so our next little bracket will be our body. Actually, step ahead, we'll go with the title. So the title that you see here is actually the information that's presented on the tab of our website. So if we navigate to a web browser and look at the tabs and what text is on them, that's where that title becomes important. And so tab title. And then now we'll put in our body. And since this is the title that fits, this attribute fits right within those two tags that we have, just like when I press enter, everything within the body of this website will be contained within these two tabs. The first new tab that we'll do is H1. All this is refer to our headings, the formatting style with the different headings. If you've ever been on Google Sheets, and you have the formatting, the title, heading 1, heading 2, subhead, it kind of refers to those. And you can have 6 different headings that represent 6, maybe 6 different styles that you incorporate, but we'll get to the style and details of this heading 1 later. We'll just type my first heading. And then the next tag we'll look at is a paragraph, just like this. So then any text that we begin to put into our website can go here. This is Mhm. So now we have all of this, and you'll see that this little notification tab, and it has that number next to it. It just means that this is not saved yet. Any changes or uh, modifications that we make to our HTML page, if we don't save it, we're not going to be able to view it correctly on our website. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And the hotkey for saving, which I would recommend learning, is just on a Mac, it's Command S for save, or Control S on a Windows. Or you can go up here, File, Save. Once we get into multiple different dependencies on our website, we'll get in the habit of saving all. So it'll save every document we've changed uh, moving forward. So now we get to actually preview this. There's a couple of different ways we can go about doing that. Oops. The first way, hotkeys, if we Command L, will load. And then now we want to, you'll see this press down here, and then we'll open, sorry. So Command L, waited too long, and then press Command O. And when you do that, it takes you automatically to your default web browser. And then we can actually see, I'll move that tab so we can see it. And now you can see you have tab title up here. You have your heading, my first heading right here. And then your paragraph. This is my first paragraph of my website. So now you can see that you have both of those working with each other. The other way of opening your index HTML page without the hotkeys, we'll close this just so we out of the way. The other way of doing it is opening a web browser of choice. I don't have Safari open, so I'll just open that. And then if we navigate through our Finder, we navigate to the file path that we created for our website. So we have first website. You'll see that it has our index.html. If we double click on this page, you'll see that it opens up for us. So now this is another way to do the same thing of opening your HTML in your web browser. But when you start to do this multiple different times, sporadically as you're testing things, uh, it gets a little tedious to go back and forth between tabs. So that's why the shortcuts or the hotkeys for viewing it of Command O, sorry, Command L will load it and then open it with Command O. And it should be the same for Windows users as well, but if it's not, please let me know and we'll figure out what that correct way of using it is, or opening our web browser.